happy with your hair? Is that what we said?
For my hair.
Yeah, me too. Me too, for sure. I'm coming back on camera in a minute. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Lauren, Charles, Diswinder. Hey,
Hi.
make an initial apology. I've been on a Zoom call the last hour, so that's why I'm a little bit late, which also means my doggy needs to go out for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Go.
I need to go let him out, so I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey, Jaswinder, how are you?
Such empathy for a doggy. I like it. I'm very good. How are you?
Hi, Analua. It's nice to see you
hot.
here.
I mean, you look kind of heated with the weather.
I'm
Not
so
you don't
hot.
look hot as well.
I'm very hot. Oh my god. I have a really sunny room, which is good in the winter, but I see that now in the summer it's like a sweltering in here.
And you have no.
I'm so glad you're here, Charles and Jaswinder. So I think everyone here knows David Analua. You've met David Boville, right, Jaswinder? I'm sure he's come into the.
It doesn't matter whether we've met or not. I'm sure we'll hit it off. Cannot be any other way.
So Analua, one time I came in the GCC, and David had like I thought he was like hosting the call. And I was like, oh, wow, he really knows these people really well. Like, he's so confident. And I thought he'd been there for like a year. It turns out it's like his first day.
He's just a confident individual, perhaps.
Well, I'm really, hello, Anelua. Lovely name, Dukta.
Jaswinder?
Anula Dukta Chirichetti. Whoa.
Lua is enough.
Lua. I love that name. Superb. Sounds like very far east somewhere to me.
Yes, I grew up in Guam in Japan, but I'm not from Japan.
I didn't accuse you of that. I have no idea. It's just good to see you.
Good to see you. Jaswinder.
Handsome.
Is your name Jaswinder?
It's pronounced handsome.
Handsome. Handsome.
Totally
Okay. Nice to meet you, handsome. Where are you from?
It's not that I'm in the UK, but I mean, originally my grandparents came from the Punjab in India, a little village called Kankhana, by a city called Banga. So if you know Jalandhar at all, or heard of it, no, Delhi?
Yes.
Well, we're about 4 or 5 hours by AC coach from Delhi, maybe 6 hours, depending on traffic.
Oh.
And it's kind of like west from Delhi. Amritsar, the Golden Temple, very close to that. An hour and a half from that.
Very hot.
What is?
Delhi.
Yesterday I heard from one of my nieces, it was 45 degrees C, which is kind of like over 90 Fahrenheit. And I suspect today it's probably 100, because I had a look at the map yesterday. I was going to say about this confidence thing before we went off to the niceties, which is very nice, obviously. It's not that we don't have confidence, it's just that too many people with too much confidence. I think that's the problem.
Confidence is good. I wish I had more of it.
What was the context of his confidence? I didn't catch that.
Shall I let you into a little secret, Lauren, before I answer Charles? All you have to remember, one, you're a female. You have dominance over the male society anytime. Two, smile less and just remind them who's in charge. Three, don't forget, it doesn't matter what you say, as long as you, the female, has the last word. You will win. And the bottom line is, do as you wish. That is the best threat any female can make. That's a good threat, because that means whatever you do after I've said that, you will pay. Simple.
I came in the middle of this, but I just heard a bunch of stuff that's going to derail me if I let it bounce around.
I speak things as I have ascertained them. I use those tactics, and I don't see why I shouldn't share them. Charles, there are too many people with too much confidence, apart from Lauren, on this program. Schedule, what do we call this? Society. Otherwise, we're good. I'm complete.
Anyway, again, my apologies for having to deal with my dog since I was on a Zoom session that just ended at the top of the hour. So I apologize about that.
No way. I don't think Lauren should smile any less. That's my opinion. But yeah.
Come on. What is all this with men
I
giving?
would have to ask a question, though. I do apologize, Sam, for interrupting. What is the purpose of smiling or laughing or anything like that anyway? What's the thought behind it, or the thoughts behind that action?
It's an emotion, not a thought. Usually happiness.
Usually it means whatever I've just said, I'm a fool for saying it, and please forgive me. That's what it means.
On the record, I have a different opinion.
Okay. What's your opinion?
I don't want to give it. I mean, all I've heard right now is men giving opinions on this
There's
session.
no men here, there's only me. Oh, and you and Charles. I don't count. Hello, Kayla. I'm complete.
Sam, just for context, I mean, for my statement, which you came in the middle of, Jasvinder made a clear statement that women should smile less. So that was the only reason for my commenting that Lauren should not necessarily do that.
No, not women.
Yeah, so
Not women, only Lauren.
okay, this is going to sidetrack the whole conversation if I let it go. So, Charles, today is your day, and I know that you did say you were in the middle of a kind of a statement about the topic. So, just for the record, you have the topic. You the first 90 minutes or so to moderate us so that we can stay focused on this topic. And the questions I'm going to ask at the end of the session are, number one, did we focus? Number two, did the moderation help us focus? And number three, did that focus help us co-create? Those are the three questions I'm going to ask in the retrospective at the end. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's for you, and whether or not you want to have any set of rules or check-ins or no check-ins or whatever, that's completely up to you. Okay?
Well, thanks. So I would just essentially turn the whole thing over to Lauren in terms of who's sort of moderating or guest moderating, however you want to call it. Lauren and I are Kicolab, Collective Intelligence Collaboratory, which some of you know about a little bit, or maybe more. But between us, we've decided that Lauren has a particular exercise and sort of framing to go through today, and yeah, I'm here to support her and participate.
This is this is something that Charles and I developed together, and what we're trying to do is make it more efficient. We don't have any fancy methodology, but we're trying to crank out some profiles today to put on the map that I've been making. The link is on Miro. And what I've been trying to do for the past couple weeks is to make some visualizations so new people can kind of come in and see what's going on quickly at a glance, and get some quick sense making. So what we're trying to do today is to actually get some profiles accomplished where we give feedback to other people. We'll go around the room, starting with one person, and we'll give feedback to that person about why we appreciate their presence here. So just generally positive feedback of things that we've noticed, and then just go around the room and do that. What I'm gonna do is afterwards, I'll cut these up into videos. I'll put them up on YouTube, listed or unlisted, whatever you want. And then we'll put those on the map. So I'm sure we'll do a very crude job, but that's why we're here doing it with people that we love and that we know. And you can give us feedback as to how we can do it better, more efficiently, or how to make the process go smoother. So Sam, I'd actually kind of like your help on how you think that we can do this. If you can kind of help me facilitate. I just thought we would start with a person and then just go around the room and say something. And I have an example that I happen to do with Stacy, if you'd like to see an example. Yeah, just wonder.
Very sorry. You're very garbled in the middle. Very garbled in the middle. And I've got an echo all of a sudden.
Did the audio come in?
All right, I think I
actually come in staticky.
Yeah. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Did you hear me? Because I'm having problems.
Yeah, it's staticky. Yeah, it's crackly. There's a cable.
So maybe you and Sam can take over a little more. That's all kind of the methodology that I have. All I want is to kind of get this done. So we have, so we actually do it. Just go around the room, start with one person. We all give feedback and then move on to the next person. It's really simple. That's all it is.
Okay, whatever you just did though, it's working fine now. It's clear, just so you know.
Okay, I got the headphones. So I'm gonna look for an example.
Don't move it. When you shook it like that, it also
There's
was
a cable,
crackly.
There's a cable issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll be right back. I'm gonna find the one with Stacy. Just give me a minute.
So let me just ask for clarification purposes as a participant, okay? Does that mean that if we have 10 people, that each of the 10 has their session, and during their session, all the other 9 are saying something about that person to give constructive feedback?
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Learn
it's
it
not,
back,
it's, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not giving constructive feedback. This is just totally why we like this person and what we appreciate about them. It's not constructive feedback, because what we're doing is a profile that people feel good about and that they can kind of like post in their LinkedIn page, and that kind of makes them shine. That's what we're doing. So good.
Okay, so it's appreciation.
Appreciation. That's right.
Okay, all right.
But in terms of logistics, it was a similar idea. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just saying in 10, so this would be ideally 5 to 7 minutes per person, because there's always transition time, right? So 7 minutes, we want the other 9 people, if that's how many there are, to give all that feedback in that 5 or 7 minutes. So it's probably what, about 30 seconds per person max? Yeah, I just want to work that out, because if we don't control that, then we're going to run out of time and we'll go crazy. So to me, my suggestion as a participant is that someone be timekeeper, because otherwise this is not going to get done.
Would you be willing, Sam, since you have a good
Actually,
for the topic?
My hands are full of dog right now, so I'm actually suggesting that maybe Alex, if he's volunteering, since he's got a clock.
Whoever has kind of, yeah.
Have Alex with a very small clock there.
The only requirement I think for a timekeeper is that they be pretty assertive in these time boundaries, because otherwise people will talk very, very long, like I'm doing. Okay, Charles.
Lauren, you're mute. Yeah.
You're on. You and Lauren are on.
Well, Lauren's on, but she's written that she's having static, but you're muted, Lauren, so I'm not sure if you're just hearing the static.
Yeah, hang on just 1 second, okay? I'm just gonna, I'm
Okay.
trying to find something.
Well, I can just mention, sorry, I'm taking a little food. I didn't prepare anything particular, but I do know that this, I think one term that some of you, or maybe even many of you know, since you know Lauren and me, and you know a bit about the PKE, the Practical Knowledge Ecology group, which ran weekly conversations through last year, many months, and now into Kiko Lab, the Collective Intelligence Collaboratory, we've been refining, kind of developing this concept of the deep profile, which is essentially what we're doing today, kind of going deeper into potentially into the profiles of each of us, whoever's here, as a way to kind of show the process and to evolve it, to move forward the process. And I guess, Lauren, you've been using Miro as a mapping tool a lot lately. And so if I understand, you have a particular idea to kind of capture and use this as a tool to show us some things and to give us some feedback and so forth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so if I understand the go ahead, Lauren, whenever you're ready.
So I wanted to show you the
sorry, no, the audio. Lauren,
Lauren,
Lauren, time out. Sorry, this cable is really an issue. I'm sorry. Your audio is not coming through. Try to just ditch it. Maybe it's better. Can you unmute and just try with the mic on the computer? Unmute? No.
You're muted.
Let me see if I can unmute her.
Yeah, you're muted. Muted on purpose. Okay, so then I should just continue. I didn't know if you want to check the audio so we can make sure that's going to be good. Anyway.
Swap microphones in the settings.
Excuse me, Alex?
She needs to swap her microphone in the settings dialog.
Oh, okay. So if I understand this piece that she's finding, that's a profile of Stacy we did last year. Some of us, I don't know if Sam, you were around for some of that in the PKE, or Colin is here, or Joshua. So you'll see a number of people expressing some things about Stacy, and that was part of a kind of much bigger process that was edited down by Lauren. Yeah, that's the one you're looking for, Lauren? Yeah, maybe. Okay. Just having computer problems. All right. So everyone, we're just trying to get on track here with the.
Can I also ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I'm hoping to avoid some odd moments because, just to be honest, I don't yet know Julia. I'm meeting her for the first time. Oh, sorry, Anita. Sorry. Anahui. I'm sorry. The font is really small, so I can't even read it. So.
Sorry, it's Ana Lua, but I go by Lua.
Okay.
Right.
So when it comes to speak about Ana Lua, and I don't know her, it would be superficial for me to comment about her because all I know is, the 5 minutes or so that I've been exposed to her right now. So
yeah, same.
I don't know how to deal with that.
I don't think it makes sense for me to participate in this exercise.
No, it absolutely makes sense for you to participate.
I only know Lauren. Really. So Lauren can give me feedback, but everybody else, I would expect to not give me feedback. I know that I have curly hair and wear glasses, pretty much.
And you like to smile.
Yes, you could give me feedback about that, I suppose. Yes, I like to smile.
Okay, well, Lauren, if and when you get your audio together, then I'm still pointing to you to keep this going somehow, but I'm not sure how better to tread water than to just reflect on where this came from our discussions of last year and the participation of some people that are here today. There's some things we can look at there together, but I did not plan anything particular about that. So Sam, apologies in regard to any funny moments or whatever. I'm deflecting responsibility.
something in the chat. Can you read it? Can you read the chat, please? I'm sorry. I'm having major problems with my computer. I'm trying to find the link, but nothing is working right now.
Is your headset still plugged in, Lauren?
No. No.
Okay.
Wow. I wonder, Lauren, if you just need to restart your computer. We're getting all this echo now too. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Lauren, before you can't hear us, do you think we should just do some kind of check-ins of some kind while we're waiting for you? What do you suggest? Do you have anything in mind? Maybe type it in the chat.
How about when Lauren's gone, let's all talk about Lauren.
Well, we are recording, so actually, I don't know. Actually, that was part of the process. I mean, again, Lauren, we didn't plan together how you want to run this, but last year, that was actually for the few examples that we produced, or especially Lauren produced, it was without the participation of the subject. And that was an interesting and important detail in the process. So I'm not sure how much we want to describe that or elaborate on that variation. Obviously, that's not what I'm pretty sure we're not suggesting to do that today, although I guess we could sort of somehow with breakouts. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling because that's maybe what I'm being asked to do here. But yeah, essentially it's turning so the idea of the deep profile, it is intended, as the name suggests, to expand on the concept of the profile. It's basically kind of Lauren's invention, which a group of us helped to discuss a lot and evolve into a process which we got going a bit, but up to a certain point. So I guess when she comes back, we'll be able to share one example. But essentially, as we did it last year in the PKE, then unbeknownst to the subject, then a handful of others that Lauren and I kind of selected, curated who would be best, who knows the person the best, who would have useful, constructive things to say, to offer, to contribute to the deep profile. And then we literally just kind of interviewed people with a series of questions and gathered all of this, recorded it, and then Lauren, being a video editor, edited them down into really beautiful pieces in the end, kind of distilling the essence and the nuggets and the beautiful statements from in most cases people's like close friends or even family members or whatever. So that's just the general concept. So to actually take the subject basically out of the process in a way up to a certain point. I mean, of course there's variations on this, and we it's open for testing and playing with, and to have it not be, so have them not even be conscious of the process until sort of receiving something, and but even if they are involved, like today, I guess how we're going to do it, then still it's a collective reflective process back onto an individual, onto the subject. That's just essentially the concept. So yeah, I'm not sure quite what else to say, but I'm happy to answer any questions or pass it around a little.
So shall we get, because we're 25 minutes past the hour, I think.
Yep, well, the clock will continue to tick, and as I said, I was not prepared to kind of keep things going in a particular way, so I'm just glad to open it up if there's anyone that wants to reflect on or comment on what I just said, or if it's not clear, I don't know. But Lauren is actually running the show today. So hopefully her technical situation will allow her to do that. Otherwise, well, we are recording. I mean, this would still be valuable just to go into maybe if how about this? Does anyone have any kind of quick popcorn type thoughts around profiles at GCC? Oh, go ahead, Alex.
I'm thinking about the 30-second elevator pitch where the person presenting is the person who's the subject of the presentation, who's also the director, the lighting editor, and the person doing it all on a video cam like this. You haven't got a crew helping, and you haven't got a script writer, so you have to prepare that, and it's going to take to start just to do it off the cuff in one session without any preparation. That will come across more like a comedy. Over.
I'm not sure I quite exactly understood you, but if you, I think you said or you implied that the subject is sort of directing, but actually that's just the opposite of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's anti-profile, right? A D-profile.
It's not the concept. It's not anti-profile. It's not driven from the conscious intention or articulation, expression of it. It's from their circle.
A non-profile or an unprofile, not a profile at all. Then.
Don't agree, but now we maybe get into ontology. I don't know, semantics.
Well, it's a comedy. It comes out like it comes across as a comedy to me because you haven't nailed it down.
Get ready for laughing. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it depends. Everybody has different things that make them laugh.
I'm just thinking about how it's going to work out, because the question is it making the best use of our time available?
So again, I cannot speak for Lauren, except that we are partners in this collective intelligence collaboratory, of which this is a component of something that we call the wisdom stack. It fits into our workflow and a kind of conceptual framework.
I like the fact that it's non-prepared.
What did you say?
I'm not sure whether I like the fact that Lauren's not prepared, and she's doing a show about something that we are not allowed to prepare, because it's off the cuff, round table, circle dialogue. A circle dialogue, off the cuff, round table. That's what it is.
When Lauren's present, perhaps you can express that to her. I'm not going to speak for Lauren. She's having some technical issues. I don't want to make any other assumptions about her preparation.
I'm talking about the issue of not having a preparation. And that's exactly what we're seeing on screen with her not here, because she wasn't prepared. So there we are.
Alex, perhaps Lauren can comment now that she's back. And
she
you
can.
Can feel the question directly to her, because that's it.
Yeah, well, it's a non-profile or an unprofile or a D-profile. Which one? You got to nail it down. You don't have to nail it down.
Hang on.
The less you nail it down, the more that's moving around, the less likely you are to categorize it as a comedy or a presentation or a profile interview.
All right.
Okay.
You're piling up. Excuse me, Alex. You're piling up a lot of questions there. Okay. So
it's an issue about time, use of time. How effective is our use of time as we go around the table? Over.
Okay.
Sam, could you play like 1 minute of this video? I can't play it. I can't share my screen and play it, either you or Charles. And then we don't have to watch the whole thing because it's 8 minutes. But if we could just watch like 1 minute, and then that's exactly what I'd like to produce.
Hey, Charles, would you like to do that?
Allow me just to Lauren, welcome back. And your sound is good now, so hopefully it will stay good. And hopefully we won't have other technical issues, which were a bit frustrating for some of us here. But just to bring you up to speed, Alex brought up a couple of questions, and I saw also in the chat, there were questions about the data points. So if we can just kind of quickly touch on a couple of things. Lauren, there was a question from Alex in regard to being prepared and making good use of our time. That's a broad question, which I refused to answer on your behalf. So that's one thing. Then there was a question. Then I did have a chance to describe a little bit more the concept and the process and the background of the deep profile, and how it actually takes the subject individual out of the process and is simply a reflection back from their immediate circle, or whoever's chosen to be the circle at a given time. And so, so there were a couple of questions, and then one more question from the chat had to do with the data points, and those are essentially the questions that we had developed from last year. So I don't know if you want to quickly respond to the idea of how we're structuring it or using our time today.
Instead of talking about it, I'd really like to just show 1 minute of the video and this is exactly what we want to do, and then just go around the room and actually do it instead of spending the whole session talking about it. So I just want to do it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we'll show it, and then we'll just go around the room and just do it.
So I've got it spun up right now. Should I go ahead and play, and then you tell me when to stop it? Okay, I'm sharing my screen. I'm playing.
Especially on Facebook and various other platforms. She's tuned in. I get the sense, all the time. She's kind of her channels are open.
It's hard to hear.
Did you share the audio, Sam? Maybe not.
I'm trying to.
You have to, at the same time that you share your screen, you have to share the audio, right? I guess you know that, but because the audio is not there.
Okay,
Right.
let me stop it.
A lot of things, but just unshare. You have to click the little at the lower left somewhere. There's share audio.
You have to share audio in as well.
You have to unshare.
Charles,
And-
do you want to do it?
I'm on my phone and I'm eating.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
I could do, but so Sam, just share it again. But before you finish sharing, you have to click the share audio.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
on the
all right.
bottom.
Let me try it again. Share computer sound. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, I'm sharing again now. Oops, wrong video. Oh, darn it. Okay, so this is what happens when I'm not prepared. Okay, let me try this again because it went to the next video. So let me bring this up again. Okay, here we go. Stacy's friends. This is again non-optimal usage of time, but my machine is very slow.
We do, like I said, we don't have to watch the whole thing. Just like 1 minute to show.
Okay, so let me share again with the audio and the right link this time. Here we go. Press share. Here we go. And I press play.
And various fields and
Is the audio coming through?
we're looking at or we're trying to cover.
She's a really, I think, possibly be very helpful in trying to make these explanations so that people with little background can grab a hold, and that's very much needed in the technology field.
If there are technical things that she doesn't understand, she's she's actually still very useful in her conversation because she watches the dynamic.
She'll ask questions if she doesn't understand. She doesn't just nod her head, which is nice.
So I've actually sent her videos to say, can you watch this video and let me know your opinion on what happened?
That didn't work either.
She's interested in the person and trying to make.
Is that sufficient? Okay.
So sorry, it was kind of hard. We've just been having like so many technical difficulties today, but could we just kind of start? So I just want to make sure we finish these because the goal is just to complete them so we have them. We can always redo them. They don't have to be perfect. Just I want to have them so we can see them and then discuss them.
Okay, so the interest of getting this going, I'm suggesting that we limit it to 20 seconds each now because, like half an hour is gone. Alex, would you be willing to just do a 20-second countdown beforehand when the time is up, and then Lauren or Charles can say next, next, next? Can we do it that way?
Go.
Okay.
I like the person I'm talking about because they respond to the suggestions I make, and they usually give positive feedback, which is great because it helps me reflect on where I'm heading in my direction and my focus. Over. Next.
Wait, so who are we talking about?
I'm not.
Yeah, because
I'm not mentioning the name to be unbiased.
No. So Sam, can we start with you?
I mean, I'm the subject, or I'm the first
the subject.
to respond? Okay, I'm the subject. Okay, so I'm going to be silent.
Okay, so I'll go. And why I appreciate Sam. Sam is very curious. He's very articulate. He's very interested in collective intelligence and exploring how we make intelligent conversations and doing amazing things at scale. I like how he holds the space, and he's very steady and comes here every week and is really dedicated to his craft. And he's also really nice and really funny, and I like him as a person. That's it. Now, Jaswinder, you want to go?
I ditto everything Lauren said about Sam. He's an extremely deep person. He doesn't really hide himself, but it's kind of difficult to know which questions to probe his psyche, which I do tend to throw at him. But there isn't much to dislike about him. He's extremely intelligent, as mentioned, and he's very appreciative of others. The thing that enamors me most is his calmness, even under duress. He tends to be probing to see what the problem is in the situation, rather than to try and target the messenger, which is really, really superb, and it's something that I'm constantly aware of, that I should be doing much more of that as well. And I'm very grateful to Sam for that. I'm complete.
Sam, will you make sure when you're recording, can you put it in speaker view so it will be like the person is giving a testimonial like that instead of gallery view?
Okay, it's now in speaker view.
Okay. So Joshua, do you want to go?
Sam likes dogs and I like dogs. Does Sam like frogs? I don't know, Ribbit. But Sam likes dogs and I like dogs. And I like Sam because he likes dogs. Complete.
Okay, Colin?
Yes, hello. I am paying attention to a certain degree, and I'm under the impression I am supposed to say what I like about Sam. And I think I've said many times, I like his vision of coexistence. And I like the fact that I feel he understands a little bit in more depth and nuance of technology and how that relates to the thinking process of taking bite-sized pieces and working on them. Yeah, so you know, I think overall he's got a good conversation started, and I would like to see it grow to its potential. Yeah.
Thais, did I say your name right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I like Sam because he's from Taiwan and because he lives on an island north of Seattle. Now it's for Alex to respond because he raised his hand. Alex.
I wasn't raising my hand.
Oh, Alex? Thais, were you done or?
I went first. I don't know what Thais is talking about. I was the first off the block.
Oh, can you say it again? Because we weren't sure you were talking about Sam.
I was talking about a generic person who I like, but because of their contribution. I like Sam in particular because of his ability to bring the group back on focus, on track with the objectives. So this is a skill, and it's a thing to have. But it's also a thing that gives a community group the ability to drive forward on a project or an idea, perhaps. But we need technical experts who can arrange the background issues. Over.
Charles?
We're talking about the Sam Hahn here. And Sam is one of my heroes, in fact. Sam, this is true. For many reasons, if I can try to efficiently enumerate your dedication to collaboration, to collaborology, to commitment to collaborate and to articulate all of these things as models, as templates that hopefully can be actually used, applied, implemented. I'm feeling connected a bit more through you and with you to Douglas Engelbart and his legacy and all that's packed into his vision as we have it now, and we hold it in whatever ways and try to move it forward. I also love that you're very involved in music, and your kindness and your gentleness, and in particular in regard to this group and this organization, holding space and holding time and being really dedicated to being rock solid in the scheduling and of that holding. Over. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Kayla, do you want to do it? I don't want to put you on the spot since you just you came 1 or 2 weeks ago, but if you want to, you can feel free.
Yes, I'll do it. Sam, you are very intelligent. I love the way you put words together. They just make sense and they're very succinct. You also appear to be a very good person and genuinely want to bring people together, which is fantastic. Yeah, you know, for the how many, 8 hours that I've known you online, you know, you strike me as a very interesting, thoughtful person as well. Over.
Okay, now we're moving on. Should we move on to Jazz Winder now? Okay, I will start. Jazz Winder is a really deep thinker, and something I love about Jazz Winder is that he might remain silent in a conversation the whole time. Maybe not. Maybe he'll talk a lot. But sometimes the thing I love most about Jazz Winder is when he does his little zingers, and his little conversation zingers when he just jumps into the conversation. He says one thing, and it's the most hilarious, deep, insightful thing you've ever heard. So that's one thing I really appreciate him that no one else does, and I really love that. I also like the fact that he can go really deep. He explores questions that not everyone wants to talk about, and he goes into things really deeply, such as soul memory and stuff like that. So I really appreciate his insight and wisdom, and also his silliness. And I will pass it to Sam.
Jaswinder is a fascinating proponent of spiritual life. He is one of the few people I know who is a Sikh. And I'm learning more and more about Sikhism as I have interactions with Jaswinder. He's also unafraid to be very direct and, if necessary, brusque. So I think he would prefer that we seek truth rather than politeness with each other. And I think that's something that has allowed the group to get more authentic as we've evolved our conversations. So not only that, he's got this tremendous family. I love meeting his grandkids. So it brings this intergenerational flavor when I get to meet the group and her sister and see that there's a wonderful sense of the future being born with these kids. Over.
Thijs, you want to go?
Jaswinder is the only African in the room now, so he's from Uganda. So there he learned to eat insects even. So it's very great background actually. So India, of course, is part of his background. So he knows much about the differences between, say, nation states and also how we live together as a planetary society and where things goes wrong. So he's able to address that. So I'm very happy that he is with us. And I give now the Joshua that he can say now what he knows about Jaswinder, this idea.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of think local, act global, and that's one of the things I love about Jaswinder is the way he interacts with his local community and the way that he makes sure he's having an impact on his community, whether it be the person on the street or a person in political power or someone in the church, or his interactions to make his community better, not just his family, but his entire community in Wolverton in England where he lives. And his focus on community bleeds over and extends to our family here online at the GCC and on Zoom. And I really appreciate that. And thanks for caring about other people. That's what I appreciate most about Jaswinder. I'm complete. Thank you.
Okay, Alex?
I'm not prepared to do anything on like that at the moment. So that's it's called saving it for a time when the correct preparation's been completed. Otherwise, you're being counterproductive. I'm making myself look stupid as well into the bargain. Over.
Okay, I just want to emphasize that you don't have to be prepared or say anything eloquent. If you don't want to say anything, you don't have to feel pressured, but please don't feel pressured to say something amazing and great, okay? Colin,
That's why I said nothing.
Yes, hello. See if I can see Jazz while I say this. Hey, Jazz. Yeah, Jazz has got a lot of cool properties, a lot of cool ideas, different than me even. So we do get into a little bit of clashing, trying to have the right space to understand each other. I find we have a difficult time discussing topics. So that's interesting and something to note, to work on. I don't know how much time I have. 20 seconds, so it's hard, but I do feel that he's sincere in his beliefs, and therefore the conversation is worth having. I just wish that there was a way that we could discuss things in a way where we could get through it without playing games that try to undermine the other person through arguing or being controversial. So, that's what I've always pushed for. And Jazz is very forceful and says, no, you're going to hear me now, young man. And so, maybe we have a conversation maybe coming up. I don't know. But Sam's interested, one about faith and science and these kinds of things. And I want it to be a serious conversation, not one that just belittles. So I'm looking forward to see if that can actually happen, because I think it would be very interesting. Thanks.
Just a note, this is just like praise and appreciation and not, just regular feedback. So that's fine, but let's just keep it more focused on this is what I like about someone. Does anyone?
I think that was what I like about him. I like the curiosity and getting to know and have each other understand each other. It's not always easy. And yeah.
Great, thank you,
And,
Colin.
I like the fact that we have the diversity that he brings. So yeah.
Does someone else know Jaswinder well enough to give a?
I can offer a couple of comments. So, yeah, I appreciate the small handful of times that I've interacted with Jaswinder. Yeah, it hasn't been so much about the interaction or the engagement, but just my appreciation of his spontaneity, wit, humor, and dashing good looks. You know, you said earlier about being handsome. I actually would agree that you're very fine looking, and that makes a good impression in a Zoom group. But I think reflecting also some others' comments here that you are unafraid to kind of make bold statements that can provoke or confront. I guess that's really not your intention, or maybe sometimes it is, but nevertheless, think, you know, you say things and you like to stir the pot, and always with humor and wit and a kind of sparkle in your eye. And so thanks for your energy and presence.
Okay, should we move on to doing Colin? Sam, you want to start?
Colin shares an interest that I have that I find rather unique and rare, which is an appreciation to take conversational elements like ideas and directions and participants and represent them in such a way that we can see them. In other words, he calls them maps, I can call them diagrams, but the idea is to make these ideas shareable so that we can actually connect them in different ways, address them in different ways. That this is actually a process that I think assists with conversation. And I'm hoping more and more people get this appreciation, but I know that in Colin, it's quite there.
Jaswinder?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself on the wrong button. Yes, Colin is a very likable chap. He wants to really get to the nub of things. He does want to record what is happening, which is really appreciative. I think he's a superb person. To bounce ideas with Colin is really good and challenging. There's nothing wrong with that. And for encouraging me to explore him and to explore the ideas that he's thinking about, I'm very grateful. And I really do want to go much further. And I think we are, in the last couple of years, we have, from being very antagonistic to on quite friendly terms. And that's saying something, so that we really worked on that. And I'm very appreciative of that also. So Colin has a lot to offer. He is offering it, and he wants to record it, which he is. And we are making lots of progress. I'm complete.
Thank you. Now I'll go. I appreciate Colin because he is very intelligent. He has really good ideas, and I feel confident that he can bring his ideas to fruition. So I have confidence in his abilities. And he's also just a really nice guy who I feel like he stands strong for what he believes in. I'm complete. Tice, do you want to go?
Yes, well, yeah, it's always okay.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. And I like Colin anyhow, but I have no comments more than that. So I need to know him better. I see what he does, nothing, and then but I don't understand enough yet. So that's all that I want to say. So now I say Yosha to speak.
Does anyone else want to go? Alex, Josh?
Sorry, I'd like to go, but I'm in the middle of something really quick. If someone else can go, I do want to offer some comments, but in a minute. Sorry.
Comment on Jasvinder, because I did have some experience with him today coming into the group. I'll turn my video on. That's better. I appreciate Jasvinder because he has, and I think this is probably in his personality from the other comments, taken to himself to do clarification tasks and help people in growing in their personal development. And he does it with wit. And he's very eloquent in how he brings things on the table and the elephant in the room. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, back to Colin. Anyone else want to do an appreciation?
Yeah, I'm 30 more seconds. I'll be ready. Sorry.
Okay. Should we move on to?
Can you not see Josh? Did Josh go?
Hi, I'm here. I'm sorry. There was some kids from across the way that had to take something back that I'd borrowed. It was not planned. So should I, Joshua, you want me to go ahead?
Let me know if I should go or not.
Why don't you go ahead? Yeah, and then I'll go after.
All right. Colin can play a mean-ass guitar. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't really know if he knows how to use a computer very well. But when it comes to Voodoo Child or Smoke on the Water, give Colin a guitar, watch out, step back, because you're about to be amazed. So I love Colin's guitar playing, and I'm complete. Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate Colin and his mind for mapping and I haven't actually tuned into his maps in quite some time, but when we first came together already a couple of years ago, we had some jams on some mapping, some mind mapping, and Colin taught me the term spaghetti as it applies to mapping, or it tends to apply to a lot of maps and mapping content, mapping processes. It becomes spaghetti. So I think one of the things that we share is a sort of eternal fight to counter spaghetti. Anyway, and yeah, I also appreciate Colin's humor and smile and willingness to be present, to show up. Thank you. Over.
Okay, anyone else? Should we move on? Okay, should we do Thais?
I've spoken on Colin already, so I'd say nothing.
No, we're gonna do it on, you're the subject. So I'm gonna start with Sam again.
Okay.
Tice participates, or Tice, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but Tice participates in a very unique way. When I first encountered Tice, all he did was listen. But it was evident much later that he caught everything, and he was very thoughtful about everything. And he prepares his response and his contribution. And by the way, a lot of it is offline. A lot of it is after he's had some time to think about it, and then find some appropriate links or references or ways to put these ideas together, and then shares them independent of these sessions. So I think that Tice crosses these meetings in such a way where he's always got something on his mind. And I appreciate his contributions because you know that they've been well considered.
Jaswinder, do you want to go?
Yeah, everything Sam said there, obviously including he's a very intelligent, caring person. And I really, really would like to say a big thank you for his conversations with me while I was going through the coronavirus and recovering afterwards, and I still am to a certain extent. That's not just him, but him more than a lot of other people. And it's extremely appreciated. Some other people on GCC were very concerned as well, which is excellent to know. And yes, he's reminding me of a lot of the things, the way he works, the way I work as well, is to pay attention, to listen, to actually take it apart and put it together again and see if it's in the right order and what should I present out of that, and take that as the next signal as to where I should be going or doing. And that's what Feast does. And he's sent me some links and ideas as well, which I really appreciated. And I look forward to his contributions. I'm complete. Thank you.
Alex, do you want to say anything?
I'm the timekeeper.
Josh? Also, Josh, if it's possible, your whole face is black. I don't know if it's possible to just turn so we can actually see your face. If it's possible, please do that.
What's wrong with being black? Is that a problem? I mean, you have something against black people?
I do not.
You really want to be black
I'm
so bad,
trying
Josh. You're just going to change with the lighting, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying specifically to be black because in this time I would much rather be black because there's some stuff going on in America right now, but that's a whole nother side note. I do like that Tice, I say Tice, but I also don't know Tice if you pronounce your name Tice, so I apologize if I've been pronouncing your name wrong all this time. But I've never seen someone understand American politics more than Tice, and the way that he is following. I'm a big fan of Andrew Yang when he was in the running for president, and he was giving me these great articles and following along a little closer than I was. So I'm a big fan of his ability to understand what's going on all over the world and to be engaged. His engagement ability is beyond belief. I would imagine he's got 27 news sources coming at him at all directions. And we are here in this group. He's been keeping up with all of our conversations and interacting and motivating and inspiring. And the inspirational posts that I get when he dives into a subject, he dives deep. So thank you for that, Tice. And thank you for being you. I'm complete.
Colin? Are you there, Colin? Okay, anyone else? Oh, Colin.
Yeah, I'm here. Tice. Yeah, he's kind of mysterious in a little bit of a way, and but like Sam, I agree. He's thoughtful in a way that he takes time before when he's ready, and I think Alex is alluding to that today too, which is also good. So he sent me some links, and I send him some stuff. So it's kind of like you know, an interesting relationship. That's kind of quiet and meaningful. And yeah, I really like the link he sent me on free speech, by the way. It actually was informative and helped me think about some things that were very timely. So yeah, I do appreciate that. And we've had a little bit of talk about the things that interest him, and he's willing to expand on them in his own time, in his own way. So, you know, that I also appreciate, to let him reveal what it is he's thinking and what he wants to at his own pace. So Tease definitely has a pace about him. So thank you.
Okay, Josh, do you mind if we do you?
I think we're getting at the top of the hour, and I don't mind. Do whatever you want to do as long as the flow is going. Just try to stay in the flow of what Sam's experiment is, which is allowing people to host to see how we can do each other better. So we usually take the second hour to help each other. So if you've got enough people and you're all set, cool. You don't have to do me.
Just for the record, the focus topic can go for 90 minutes at least, because the retrospective has not been taking so long. So my initial thought was that we would do a 1 hour retrospective, but in actuality, we've needed not more than 20 to 30 minutes. So the focus and the focus moderation ideally should go till the 90-minute mark. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll start. What I like about Josh, I like Josh best actually at his silliest. The points where he just jumps in a conversation. I've been around at some like really precious moments where he's just let loose and he's capable of producing a cipher effect. So just jump in and like a huge surprise. And Josh has like 10 people inside of him with different personalities, like a comedian, and they can just come out. And he also has a great deal of very different, varied interests, which he knows a lot about. So this vast amount of stuff that he knows, it makes him be able to make connections that a lot of people can't make. So I think that's something really special. Sam, do you want to go?
Josh has probably as much change-making experience as anyone here. And I really appreciate that he brings that experience to what GCC is trying to do. Josh has an extreme willingness also to help anyone get off and get started if they don't yet have an online presence. So his experience with WordPress, with blogging, is available to almost anyone, and he's offered it quite enthusiastically. Josh is also very consistent in his support of GCC. He finds opportunities to always, give the broader context of the way the Thursdays and the Fridays and the Saturdays and Sundays flow together, which is a useful context if anyone's actually being introduced to the GCC. And so Josh is also remarkably consistent in his participation with all of these contributions. So he sees across them and brings that perspective as well. So thanks, Josh.
Charles?
Josh is full spectrum, whole system dude who does have a lot of different dimensions and components and passions and sectors of interest and yeah, you love to flow and to mash up all those things in various combinations at any given time. And you're all heart, that's one thing. We just have like a deep heart connection, and I think you're like that. It seems to be your kind of default setting, to just have like really open heart, open mind, open will, and again be able to draw from all these different areas and actually areas of expertise between the tech world and having like pretty deep long history trajectory through different phases of tech through today and looking at tomorrow, and then sort of the microbiome and a lot of health and naturopathic type perspectives. It's just a wonderful bundle that has a great groove with a good beat and a good flow. So thanks, Josh, for being you.
Jaswinder?
Yeah, he's a good egg all around. He likes to try and keep the peace and appease people and make sure that they're having a good conversation, even if it's getting passionately heated. Yeah, good man to have around. Not to take away anything that's already been said so far, this is my addition to that lot as well. Thank you.
Thijs, do you want to go?
Yeah, well, I like Josh. Well, I think it's funny that he's with us. It's taking time to be in this group. Well, I consider him to be a private entrepreneur, giving advice to people high level on on the internet, on anything. So he has to be there for his clients. Then he takes time to be with us. So it's some kind of funny, I think, to be so socializing with us while being earning money by giving advice to people. So that's all what I want to say about Josh. So now the next person.
Colin?
Yes, Josh. Oh, technical difficulties. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Yeah, Josh, well, he can play Amin Kazoo. I know that for sure. And he doesn't seem to know much about technology either, I found. Doesn't know how to set anything up. And he's not much of a catalyst either. He's not full of very many ideas. And he doesn't kind of jelly.
You want to come back to it, Colin? We'll come back to Colin.
I mean, not as a logical knot. No, he's
Colin,
definitely an interesting character.
Colin, can you just back up and repeat if you're in a clear place? Because you cut out for a while there. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you're not moving around.
Go ahead. He's not much of a catalyst. Yeah, can you hear me?
If you can just stay in one place, like maybe we could hear you.
Stay in one place.
Yeah, trying to find a good spot here. Okay. It's a bit of a labyrinth today. Yeah, Josh. He's the kind of a guy who I think is a catalyst and is good with assessing some technologies, what may or may not need to be done. Seems to be able to read the room very well and add value, and seems to have a lot of dimensions that he's aware of. He's quite well read and insightful, and is willing to admit when he doesn't know things, and very curious to learn new things. So yeah, he's a pretty interesting fellow, and it's good to know him. And yeah, he can play Amin Kazoo. So there you go.
Okay, anyone else?
I know Josh, that's why. Josh, you're a very interesting individual. I'm actually very surprised at a lot of the things you know, culturally, globally. I take my kids to your Facebook page to look at interesting articles and YouTube videos for all of us to watch. You're a very well-rounded individual, and you also are very fearless. It takes a lot of courage to put some things out there that might be controversial. And I love your dedication to nature. I mean, just being out where you're at without any human interaction is just amazing.
Okay, should we move on to Thijs? No, we already did that. Josh, Alex?
I'm not taking part because of my memory issues. I reflect what everyone else has said. It's a ditto from me.
Okay, can we do Alex as a subject? Is that okay, Alex? Okay. Can we start with Josh?
I'm the timekeeper.
It's okay, Alex. You don't have to say anything. You're the subject.
I'm the navigator.
Yeah. Josh, you want to start?
Yeah, I just want to be respectful for Alex. It's 1:30 in the morning, and he's probably had a long day, and he comes to these sessions very consistently late at night in Australia. And that I admire that so much about Alex, of someone who's willing to take that time so late in the evening and be so present so much. So when there's times when it's, you know, if you were up at 1:30, I would have nothing. I would just, I would be done. So the fact that he's conscious, awake, and clear, and there are some times when it's probably a long day, and that's the energy I'm feeling from Alex at the moment currently. So I just want to be respectful and aware of where he's at 1:30 in the morning. So I really admire and appreciate not only him showing up, but showing up the way he does so late at night and consistently. And also just having the biggest heart. He's just got one of the biggest hearts of anyone I know. He really, really comes with his heart space, not just his brain space. And with that, I'm complete. Thank you for showing up, Alex, and for keeping time.
Sam?
I've gotten glimpses here and there about the evidence that Alex has lived a rich and very dynamic and varied life. And I appreciate that experience because he comes with a lot of life lessons, life wisdom, life insights that Alex likes to share with the group. Also, it cannot go unsaid that it is the middle of the night in Australia for Alex. And he is one of the most consistent participants across these conversations through all the times. And so I really appreciate the strong, evident, and actual support that Alex has for what we're doing here in GCC.
Alex has been very, very good. He's obviously shared his issues with us during the time that I've been with the GCC at any rate. And it's really appreciative that even having those issues, and as he's already iterated, that he has memory problems, not only long-term but short-term memory as well. And he's well aware of that, and therefore he shies away from certain conversations where good, strong memory would play a much better part. But nevertheless, he does engage, and engages at very deep levels, and he has a lot of quips and sayings and things that keep the conversation going. And I really appreciate his presence. Another good egg to have around. I'm complete.
And I don't know Alex very well, but I appreciate the fact that he's very consistent. I think that he's not only consistent in his attendance, but I think one of his values is valuing other people's time and trying to value when other people do the same thing. And I like how Alex usually points out, why don't we do what works instead of what doesn't work? And I think that Alex also has a lot of good ideas and suggestions to kind of improve the conversation and to get smarter as a group. So I really appreciate that. Does anyone else want to go?
Well, Alex has two major issues that he comes up with that I like. One is I like it, but I will not implement it, which is making a solar screen, so to prevent the solar rays catching the earth in such amount that we get a heated earth. And the other part is he likes to plant trees. He has an idea how to pay people for planting trees. So if you want to plant trees and to get paid for it, you have to check Alex ideas. He knows how to pay for people planting trees. So that's I admire for him about him.
Colin, you still there?
Yeah. Yeah, I also think Alex is another person that's quite sincere in his thinking. And he's very consistent in showing up and trying to express and align his ideas. I do think that sometimes there's some difficulty, but that's also part of the game that I believe we're here for, is to try to learn how to agree and disagree better. And since I'm a very detailed person, I can ask very detailed questions, and maybe we're not ready. And I think he's alluding to that. And I think that's really valuable, knowing when you're not ready. I know I'm not ready for a lot of things too. So, and he had some humor and some lightheartedness as well at times, which is needed. So yeah, he's part of the GCC. Definitely, I see him as sort of the almost like a another kind of I don't want to say leader, but if this was a church, he'd be sort of like an elder. I think he really believes in it strongly, and I hope that he does manage to get his project with the tell two people and they tell two people and so on and so on. I hope he finds that spark and has that viral growth that he's looking for. And the things Ty's mentioned as well. So yeah.
Okay, now subject is Charles, and I'll start. So Charles, when we did a profile of Charles, we had to make it into an octopus because he honestly has so many talents that it's hard to capture without 8 arms or legs. So Charles is a scribe. He's a really prolific producer, a writer, a DJ, an artist. He's detail oriented. He's a curator. He's a designer. He listens deeply. He understands complexity, and he's also a network weaver. And Charles has really deep relationships with a lot of people. And so he doesn't just know a lot of people, but he knows them pretty deeply. And they really like him and respond to him. So he's a really good people person. And we've seen even on these profiles that we've been doing, even Charles hasn't even been here. He's been here like 2 times, and his profiles were just as good as anyone else's, even if he's only met someone a couple times. So I think like today, Charles has shown something really deep about himself, that he can just jump in, assess someone really well, and kind of know their strengths and weaknesses very quickly. So I think that's and be able to express that in a positive way, very articulately. So that's why I like Charles. And also he has a lot of heart, lots of heart. Okay, Sam?
I got to know Charles because he was proactive. And that's actually something that is very powerful when you're building networks. Charles reached out to me. We had deep conversations. He's participated in some of these GCC conversations. And every time I'm impressed with his memory or his use of whatever he's using in order to track whatever details are relevant. I think Charles's deep appreciation for Engelbart, Doug, and what Doug was trying to do, separate from the whole tool system side, is what really allows Charles and I to have these conversations that we have. And I appreciate the fact that even though, as Lauren just mentioned, he hasn't been a frequent attender yet of these barn raising, the fact that he's here now and actually, doing a very deep contribution to what we're trying to do here in GCC says that, wherever he shows up, he's willing to be there, 100%. So I really appreciate that about Charles.
Josh?
Yeah, I would say Charles is an innovator, a reflector, an inspector. When it comes to actually changing the world, that's what I see Charles as a person who's ready to get this party started. And not just with the music and DJing the party, but listening and finding out where we need to go. And I met Charles when he was getting ready to hold a conference for global leaders to find out what we can do for climate change, one of the biggest things that we're tackling. And he's not afraid to tackle the big issues. And I really appreciate the fact that Charles was the first person in 16 years to get me to use Microsoft. So if it wasn't for Charles, I wouldn't have a OneNote account and be on Microsoft. So thank you for that, Charles.
I'm not sure. Does anyone here know Charles well enough to give a profile thing? Anyone? Okay. Should we do Kayla as a subject? Wait, Alex, are you saying something?
Yeah, just wanted to mention that Charles' choice of hair gel is very interesting. Alba.
Should we do Kayla, even if she's only been here a couple times?
No one really knows me, so it's really up to you guys.
Okay, Sam, I'll have you start.
Kayla's appearance here at GCC is a breath of fresh air. It's really a cool light bulb, because what we've been up to now has been a fairly consistent group that's been really trying to figure out how do we reach others. And Kayla found us and stayed. And so I really, really appreciate that whatever Kayla is seeing, it's at least curious enough for her to stay a few sessions. She's also got a very fascinatingly unique background. She's here in the US, but she's got Polynesian roots. And I appreciate that because my family history is in Polynesia. So we have many conversations yet to take place with Kayla. But she actually also is a different generation than most of us here. And so represents a fresh new perspective that I would really hope shows up strongly in future conversations here. So Kayla, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'd like to say too, Kayla, you're like a little sparkle here. It's really great to have you. I think you have the spirit of a dancer. And I also get the sense that you're a sort of an onboarder, like you like to take people and guide them and make sure that they go to where they need to go. And I also think that you seem to me to be a really deep listener and polymath, someone who's good at a lot of different things, and that you say really relevant things that show that you've listened to other people, and you're kind of spot on and very positive, and just give. I think you just have a really nice vibe. Anyone else?
Yeah, in the tone, sorry.
No, go ahead, Just Winner.
In the short time that Kayla's been here, I've been very impressed. She's not only attractive, she's also very knowledgeable and said a lot of things that are extremely engaging. So welcome, Kayla. It's nice to have you on board, and we'll get to know each other better as we get along. I'm complete.
Right on. I was just going to say, one of the things that I'm very impressed with Kayla is her adventurous spirit. And when everything happened with COVID, where this is a virus that's spreading around and everyone's staying in their house, she was one of my few friends that said, well, if everyone's staying in their house, I'm going to go explore and travel in nature and have an adventure. And I thought that was so cool because that got me through the first couple of weeks of COVID, just watching her posts of going to these beautiful places all over, I think California, Arizona, or Utah. I'm not sure exactly where she was, but it was awesome. And just to see her in nature and to have that adventurous spirit when things are going in that direction is just so impressive. And also that adventure comes out in the instruction of dance and in bringing people together in community and in teaching cultures. So being adventurous in sharing cultures is different than just being stiff and rigid when you're sharing community and culture. And I appreciate that about Kayla, that adventure of life and inspiration. Thank you for that. I'm complete.
Nothing to add to that. Very nice of Kaylee with this. So, and she reacts to all messages that I send to her. So about dancing and so on. So I learn a lot and more to learn from her in the future, I hope.
Anyone else?
Yes, I think it's interesting how Kayla alludes to the fact that the community is in better cohesion when people do the right thing. And children are protected from violence and exploitation, and adults are held to accountability for their actions. When they turn a blind eye or they fail to raise their voice in any situation when something is not right, the words that keep coming back to my mind is do the right thing. We have to learn to do the right thing, whether it's uncomfortable or not, whether we think it's necessary, it would help the world or not. Over.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, Sam, I want to be respectful of the time. Everyone's gone, right?
No, we've not done you.
Yeah, I'd also like to speak on Kayla. We talked a little bit. She's a very much like a very positive spirit, and I think that's to a good effect. And I like the way that she was speaking about dancing and how that relates, and different things as well. So she knows about natural ways of being plugged in, I guess. We were talking about different things like that. So she definitely seems to have a lot to give and a very positive energy, which I think is very refreshing as well. So, yeah, thanks.
Okay, it's 6:35 and I want to be here. We've done more than an hour and a half, so I want to be respectful of the time, Sam.
Lauren, Sam, thank you for the reminder. Lauren, this is it. We're gonna. I would really say we do this. So just to chime in here just for a moment. Lauren has evaded being profiled until now, so we might have a chance, even if we can reduce the time to do it. With those of us, I would really vote for yes. We go for it still.
I think no reduction necessary. Let's just go for the same sequence we've done with everyone else.
Yeah.
Charles, would you like to go first?
Well, okay. Normally, I'd be trying to make a list and map and kind of sense make in general, but in particular with regard to Lauren. Wow, I don't know how to compress this down. You beyond the octopus definitely have many dimensions. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try to start over. Lauren is absolutely dedicated in so many ways. She's been an amazing friend and supporter and partner in a lot of ways in our collaboratory, and also super dedicated and engaged and involved in GCC and a lot of other groups. Lauren is a full-on network weaver, so when she shows up, she's really there, contributing in deeply in many ways, and more lately in mapping and visualization and memification and so forth. Lauren is a brilliant and prolific inventor. I'm actually praising Lauren to like almost everyone I know all the time. Like every other day, you're coming up with like something new that's epic and incredible and paradigm shifting. And probably leaving out a bunch, but I'm gonna cede the floor here and just say I love you, Lauren, and you're amazing. Thank you. You're the queen. Yes, the queen. Sam, maybe you can go.
I'd love to. So Lauren actually started PKE after she heard a few of our GCC conversations, and did it because she was so supportive. She wanted to see what could be done instead of what could be discussed. And so I really like that about her. You know, the Nike tagline, just do it. When I see that, I think of Lauren. Okay. When I see Lauren, I think of that tagline. Okay. And I really appreciate the fact that she actually understands various different pieces of how what we're doing and what each of us is interested in can fit together. And so she is doing that connection, that compositing, that aggregation that can hopefully lead to action. And she's been very supportive of, you know, what we're doing here, what I've been trying to do with Doug Engelbart, some of the various different things I've been trying to see some growth around. Lauren is actually in there trying to make it happen. So for all of those reasons and plenty more, because I certainly hope that our continues and gets even stronger, that I'm really appreciating that Lauren's somebody that I will finally, you know, I think build a community around for us to actually do some really amazing things. We're doing some amazing things now, but I think we're just a few % along the way. And Lauren's one of the catalysts that's going to get us there. So, Lauren, thank you so much.
So Lauren, you're one of the women that I'd love to know more about. I always tell my dancers, you know, when you dance, be strong, but feminine and graceful. To me, you're strong and very graceful with the way you present your ideas. My very first barn raising meeting, you were just, it was amazing. It blew me away. I thought, well, maybe I'm not good enough for this group because look at her presentation. It's just amazing. And you know, I love that. I appreciate it from a woman to another woman. It's very inspiring. Over.
Joshua, I was wondering. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll build off of what Sam said. Is I met Lauren at a few barn raising meetings about a year or so ago, and that energy of, okay, we can talk about it or we can do it. Who wants to do it? Okay, let's do it at 6 a.m. and then we'll do the 8 a.m. and we're not stepping on anyone's toes, but we're going to just do it and we'll figure it out as we go along. And I love that spirit. I love the let's do it. Let's get the smartest people in the room. Let's figure out who we are and collectively put our intelligence together. So it's the connecting of the intelligence that I appreciate about you, Lauren. Not just your intelligence and your background, but finding other people that complement each other. And that whole concept of finding people that complement each other in a way that gets it done. Not just Nike, let's do it, but let's get it done in a way that we're collectively moving humanity forward. And that's what I see in Lauren. So thank you for that just that spirit of connection. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to one. Oh. I'd like to also second what Josh is saying, and as well, I think in a word, an organizer, somebody who wants to actually organize it and get it done. I was very impressed with her spearheading the PKE, and the way that she tried to hold everybody to focus. So that was quite valuable. And I think also in her presentation that she did, she showed how she put a lot of work into that, and that's inspiring as well. Thank you.
Yeah, Lauren's presence is much welcome on here, and I don't really know sufficiently about her because I didn't go to PKA. I didn't pay that much attention to her when she was on GCC. There were a lot of other things going on at the time. But it's really good to have her here, and her energy and her freshness to tackling what we're trying to do here. And I'm complete on that. Thank you.
Anyone else like to add?
Yes, me, Analua. I would like to commend Lauren on her inclusion on her kind approach, connectedness, tact, and modesty. Thank you. Complete.
Beautiful. Great. If anyone else would like to add, you maybe interacted with Lauren more in the GCC calls, which I've not been around. Anyone? Okay, back to you, Lauren.
Okay, I actually just wanted to do Analua. I think I might be the only person who knows her, so I just wanted to do a little appreciation. So I don't know Analua very well, but we've had a couple meetings, and I just think that I'm super impressed by her general energy. She has so many connections in terms of, did you? Oh, you're here. Analua has a lot of connective intelligence, and she speaks more languages than I can even count. It's something like 5 to 8, and she's very modest about everything that she does. She also has a lot of talents that are very diverse. So again, she has a lot of connective intelligence that comes from, knowing about business and art and healing and all these different things. So I think that she kind of has a soul, like the deep soul of an artist and a healer. But she can also, the way that she speaks is she can kind of keep it on the practical as well. So it's really, she's a really, really interesting conversationalist and very curious. And if she doesn't know about something, she wants to know about something and doesn't pretend like she knows about something and wants to explore it further. So I haven't known her for a long time, but she just seems like a really special, very deeply interesting person who will have a lot of insights about the world and a lot of insights about different people. Okay, so I think we're done. So I just wanted to hand it over to you, Sam. So what I'll do is just spend some time actually putting these together into videos. And I just wanted to get your feedback to see if you wanted me to, I'll throw them up on YouTube, if you wanted me to put them unlisted or a public. So who would not like them? I'll post them publicly unless you raise your hand or give me an indication that you don't want it public. Who does not want me to put it on YouTube publicly?
Going once, going twice, sold.
All right, I'm complete.
Okay, all right. So at this point, I would like to do the standard activity that launches our retrospective portion of this discussion. So I'm going to send around a poll, and that poll is going to be a short question. It's going to be a yes/no question. I'll leave it up for about 15 or 20 seconds. So if you've not responded in 15 or 20 seconds, it'll be too late, okay? There are 3 questions total, and then we'll go into discussion, okay? So here's the first question. Question is, did we focus on a topic? And for the record, I'm the host moderator, so I cannot actually vote on these things.
He says that every time. I think it's a cop-out.
The question doesn't, the question is not applicable.
Okay, that's 20 seconds. I'm going to end the polling. I'm going to share the results with you briefly, okay? But we'll discuss these later, okay? So I'm going to go to the second question now. And here it is. The question is, did the moderator's moderation help keep us focused? Again, I'll stop for 20 seconds. Okay, thank you all. That is 20 seconds. I'm going to end the polling, and I will share the results briefly, and we'll discuss these later, okay? So I'm going to stop the poll sharing, and I'm going to go to the third question. And here's the third question. The question is, so did we co-create with that focus? We got about 5 seconds to go. Okay, it's been 20 seconds. Okay, so I'll now share the results briefly before I stop it. We can go back to the first question then and share the results there and discuss, okay? So I'll leave the results up here. Anybody have any about
Sam? Can I just quickly comment, because
Yeah.
the poll tool or whatever, it didn't actually come through until the third question for me. So I put my responses in the chat, as I saw a couple others doing. So it may not be perfectly accurate in terms of how the tool works.
Oh, really? So you're saying that it took more than 20 seconds for the poll to come up and show up on your device?
No, the poll actually didn't show up on my device until the third question. Just saying.
Okay, sorry about that. That's the first time we've actually done this now for quite a while.
Yeah, Tice didn't see the poll either. He's writing. So anyway, it's mostly going to be fine and accurate, but not totally. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, sorry. This is the first time I've got that feedback, so it's good to know. All right, so let me just describe the results then for those of you that unfortunately were not able to participate. Did we focus on a topic? That was question number 1. We got 5 yeses and 1 no. So anybody want to go into more explanatory verbatim text on that particular survey question?
I would add 1 more yes that I put in the chat as well.
Well, I can only speak from my point of view. Obviously, I wasn't the one who voted no. But certainly we focused on the topic. Once I stopped the initial jabbering and settled down, we focused all the way through. There's no doubt about that in my mind, complete.
Can I make a comment about the focusing, which is because we were focused on individuals throughout the session, the focus kept shifting from individual to individual and the person responding. So in that sense, the focus was all over the place. But the topic was on track most of the time. It was about our appreciation of the person under the spotlight.
Yeah, speaking personally, I did think that the technical issues kept us from getting going. So once we got going, it was smooth. But until then, there was a bit of a sense that I think Alex expressed it, that it wasn't quite focusing until we actually solved those technical questions.
I wanted to offer something here, which is more about the context and the purpose of this deep profile thing. It's an exercise, it's a process, it's a group process. It ends up being a kind of product, and but it's really all about interoperability. It's about identity and interoperability fundamentally, and we didn't really go into this at all. So I just wanted to offer that as a kind of quick but large framing of why we're doing this and why we're sort of really dedicated to deep profiles and bringing them to life and manifesting them in the Kiko Lab and elsewhere. It's so we can all become more interoperable in all these ways. Over.
Okay. So anyone else with feedback on the focus question? Okay.
I also thought the same thing. It was a little bit rough starting out, but because of technical issues, and once it started, of course, the focus kept on shifting, but it was doing so in a very good pace.
Yeah.
Nalua, can you tell what the picture is on your profile? Looks like an animal in the ocean.
Yes, that animal is me. Or rather, my body.
Okay. So On the results of the second question, it was, did the moderator's moderation help keep us focused? There were, oh, sorry, Josh, you had your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I put my digital hand in my real hand. I'm not sure if you can see me. That's why I'm speaking up. But I just wanted to say the experiment that I understand it as a few weeks back, I think it was about 5 weeks ago, is Sam's always hosting barn raising. And then it comes down to, well, if you just did it better, Sam, if you did this, Sam, do this, Sam, do that. And the way I understand it is you said, okay, well, let's give everyone an opportunity to host because it's not freaking easy. So if you want to take a first hour and host it, and that's the way it's done. So I felt today was a little confusing with, okay, Charles is having the opportunity to host the first hour, and then he referred to his partner, Lauren, and then Lauren referred back to you, Sam, can you share your screen? So just that round robin of who's controlling, and then Lauren took control, and then I think it went really well. But I'm just saying to have clarity of who is actually hosting and then who is supporting the host. So then, you know, Alex was asked to keep the time. So if we can just be clear with our needs as the host and our needs in supporting the host, I think it'll go better. I just wanted to put that out for other people and for myself when I'm hosting later in the future, so we can all do each other better. Just clarity of who is actually hosting. Is it Charles? Is it Lauren? Is it Sam?
So
and that's what I think going on in the beginning.
I can just very
What do you
quickly
think,
respond to that because yeah, it was me, and then I talked with Lauren, and we kind of in this cycle of conversations with the collaboratory, and we thought together that it made a lot of sense for different reasons to go for this profiling activity with GCC barn raising. Okay, and we communicated clearly with Sam yesterday, and I said it's Lauren's show, and that's kind of it. And I'm here to support and to show up. That's it.
You know,
as
I
far
felt
as I'm
like,
aware,
thank you.
as far as I'm aware, this was Lauren's particular section. The confusion that seems to not be quite clear from all the comments so far, correct me if I'm wrong, is the object and the objective. This confusion arises because the object here, the exercise of this session, is to do some sort of a very low level, if I may say so, analysis of our individual personalities by having people comment on them, which is fine. And when did we vary from that objective? We didn't. The first few minutes, yes. The next few minutes, yes. Those don't count. Once we started the session proper and it was made clear who was taking the session, it's been on focus. And the rest here, really, if we're not clear on that and we detract from that, are we really paying attention? I'm complete.
Okay. Anyone else with
I want
thoughts?
to mention, can I just say that it felt like pressure for a while then, because it was as if it was sprung on me that I had to give my impression of what I thought about the other players in the team. And so without preparation, that was a bit discerning. And the other thing was, another thing that disturbs me about the practice is that it's navel gazing, basically. Otherwise, it's mining for gems, and that's an aspect we shouldn't be disregarded, because there's people amongst us here with definite talents that are applicable in the right situations, in the right settings. So, over.
I would love to just tag on that comment about navel gazing, and I just wonder, and I really have not been around, as you all know, in many of these GCC calls, certainly not recently, but in terms of its evolution over 3 years, as it was told to me very clearly, directly, and without pause from Sam, I guess that was 2 weeks ago when I was on the call, that the group has no identity, period, full stop. Okay, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So this, again, exercise into deep profiling is an attempt actually to get out of this like juggernaut of nasal gazing, nasal gazing, whatever. Okay, if you will. I'm complete. Thank you.
They go Vaseline. Okay, cool. So just for the record, I don't know if I presented the result of question 2 yet. Did the moderator's moderation help keep us focused? We had 4 yeses and 2 nos, and that's been, I think, the conversation we've been having. So I'm going to go now to the results of the question number 3, which was, did we co-create with focus? And here, at least for the votes that were submitted, the results were unanimous. We had 6 yeses and 0 nos. So just wanted you to see that.
I think just to mention, there was a no in the text in the chat.
Oh, okay. I haven't read the chat. Okay, all right. Okay, so anyone want to comment on that question number 3? Did we co-create with focus? I'll go.
Well,
My response is a partial yes. In other words, we came up with some raw material, but clearly Lauren or someone is taking it upon themselves a fairly significant task. It's a non-trivial task to go through and edit these videos. So Lauren, I appreciate it. If that is you, then my hat's off to you. I bow to you, my deep appreciation for you. Because I know working with video is not simple. You know, not only is it that you have to learn the skills, but you got to wait for the bleeping machine to actually, you know, then do the final rendering, which is a time-taking task as well. So that's why my response is a partially qualified yes, in that we did give some materials, but there evidently is going to be some work required for someone to actually produce it and then to make it available. So thanks in advance for taking that on. Jaswinder has his hand up.
I'm not concurring with that. I think it was for our very first attempt of something that Joshua and others have intimated over a period of time, of this practice of somebody who's done something or not done something being put in the middle, and then all the village elders get together and point out all the good things about that person. And for the very first time, we've done this wisdom circle. And although you may get away with saying it's superficial and it's not deep enough or whatever, for a first attempt, I take my hat off to, I take my turban off to Lauren, which I'm not supposed to, Lauren, but I will. And this is excellent. And I see no reason why this sort of thing should not be repeated periodically. And we can go deeper and deeper so that we get to know each other much better at a level where we can talk at extremely deep levels without getting overly excited and saying, I don't want to talk to you anymore, or you don't understand me. When somebody says, I don't understand what you're saying, where does that problem lie? Is it the person who's giving the information and is not doing it in a fashion that the receiver wants to receive it? Or is it the other way around? Therein lies the problem. We have a language problem. It may be the same language, but the same word is taken to mean differently. And we've been doing this language thing. Sorry, Lauren, Joshua was first, and I'll just finish this by this little add-on. We've had the language problem of understanding, as Charles said, ever since we started, and we're still doing it here today. This is another step forward. Thank you, Lauren, for taking the time off to do that. I'm complete.
So I think Josh and Alex and Charles all have their hands up.
Can I just say something?
Yeah,
It's a technical thing. Please just write your email. I just want to make sure everyone knows before people leave. Can you just write your email in the chat if you want to go through the transcript in order and highlight what you'd like to include on your own video? So you have control over that if you want. And if you want to do that, just put your email in the chat.
Okay. Josh?
Yeah, I was just writing my email in the chat. I'll try to multitask here. So here we go. I'm not a good multitasker. Okay, I'm done. I was just going to say, Charles has asked me many times, what's going on at GCC these days? Are you guys getting somewhere? Do you have an identity yet? And I just wanted to say that it's not always about having an identity. And it's a very hard concept for people to understand. A community without a leader, a community without an identity seems a foreign concept. But a deepening of understanding a group of people that decide to meet over and over and over again, I believe that's what we're doing here. And I just wanted to put that and be clear that it takes a lot of conversations, a lot of time to get to know each other. And we're hoping to inspire other people to take time to get to know each other. Or at least that's what I'm hoping. I won't speak for the group because I can't. But I'm hoping that each person in the world takes the time that you spend with your family to get to know each other and then spread out to another family. And that's what I see as the GCC is we're creating a family, not a clique, but a family of people that spend time to get to know each other so we can inspire others to deepen their understanding of each other. And that spreads hopefully globally. And that is the challenge. And it's a very strange concept, but I just wanted to make sure that people understand the GCC is not a deliberate, let's stand up this organization and put this person as president or CEO. It's an organization of spending time to deepen conversations so that not only we know each other, but we know the subject matter of the conversation so we can keep diving deeper into those conversations. And if you've been around for long enough, we've gone deep on subjects from, you name it, from racism to politics to global systems to computers to technology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to say that for anyone in the future that's watching this, what the heck are we doing here? All the way to how to host a meeting. I feel like that's what we're doing here. And that's really special to be able to dive deeper into how to do us better and host. And I'll keep it brief. So thank you. I'm complete.
Charles, Analua.
Is it a sociocracy here?
Go ahead. You can feel free.
It's an Alua-ocracy. If you can float in the water, you can speak. Go ahead, Analua.
Is it a sociocracy here?
It's an Analua-ocracy.
I don't think I like that either. Is it a sociocracy?
It's a whatever you want ocracy. You can be you and do you any way you want. Be you, do you.
Anarchy.
That works.
So let me take my chance, okay? I view, and this is just my opinion, that these sessions are like a town square. So it depends on who shows up at a town square. It shows up on who wants to be in what little part of the town square. You know, are you sitting by the fountain? Are you over there in the corner by the trees? Are you reading a book on your own, or are you having a little conversation with a few others? So that to me is what we have here. Now, out of that town square, we can have other people sort of gather for other purposes. We 3 or 4 people can say, hey, let's go over here and do a barbecue someday. Or let's go over here and do a Bible study group. Or let's go over here and learn how to do, dance together, right? So out of these town square sessions, we have various different other threads happening. But these gatherings I view as the town square itself, okay? So it really depends on who shows up and how they show up and what energy they bring and what contribution they bring and how willing they are to listen and how willing they are to engage and connect. That to me is the essence of GCC.
Okay, so it is whatever emergence comes out of it. Very cool.
Charles, you had your hand up.
Thanks. So, Jaswinder, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your comments in terms of, and offering this term, which I love, which is the wisdom circle. So I think I would love to bring that forward and evolve it. And I think if I recall, Jaswinder, you wrote, or you actually mentioned just earlier something about low level. I don't remember the exact context or phrase, but I commented in the chat that I don't agree that it's a low level signal or exercise actually, and that's underscored by how you came around and used the term wisdom circle, and really was you expressed a lot of value in the type of connection and interaction in the circle. So yeah, actually I was just curious, Lauren, maybe if you are interested to share super briefly anything from Miro, or sort of in terms of what you were gathering. Maybe that's not fair because maybe you're just going to rely more on the transcripts. But I'm just wondering if there's anything to show, because I know you're way into visualization.
No, I was concentrating on people, and so I couldn't do the mural thing at the same time.
Okay, no, understood.
I gotta go because my family is we're trying to meet. But I just wanted to express my gratitude to everyone for putting up with the technical difficulties at the beginning, and just my general crappy presentations. And I hope that it will be beneficial to have these profiles once they're done. So thank you so much for just the opportunity to I've been wanting these for so long, and so it really provided me an opportunity to get something done that I've always wanted to do. So thank you for taking the time and for just putting forth with so much heart, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren and Charles, for doing this.
Yay, thank you, Lauren. Charles. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. I did want to respond to you because I also heard the term low level, and I wanted to expand a bit on what you were saying about that. Let's just put aside that low level. Okay.
You're not responding to me, you're responding to Charles?
Lauren, have a good dinner if you need to go.
I'm responding, actually both of you, but somebody made the phrase low level. For me, it's a first level. Okay, I mean, you could actually look at it that, hey, we've had many first level exposures before, but it's necessary to do the first level before you do the second / etc. Okay, so I think that again, let's just do it. Energy of let's get this thing on is a first level, and first levels are always necessary before you go to the next. Okay, that's what I aspire to these thoughts that are commonly associated with this term called agile. Agile is get used to imperfection, get used to doing it in a schedule, get used to doing something on a regular basis, and get comfortable with being imperfect. And people who are comfortable, exactly, people who can't do something until they've mastered it, Kayla could probably understand this, will never get started.
Can I just have to jump in. Lauren, are you still there?
Yeah.
So that's back on, you can tag this into my little piece on you. Like you're fearless about jumping in like full on before we're ready, like when we're half ready. And that's just amazing, like spirit of just really get shit done. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of doing crappy work.
No, it's about actually doing it before we're perfectly ready. And that's just brilliant. And
This is
refreshing and healthy.
Work. This is an excellent work. Just because I chose a word which may seem a little derogatory, it isn't so. As Sam has said, it's the first step. It's an excellent step. We should have done this long ago. And I'm really grateful. And Charles, in fact, everybody here, but obviously Lauren and Charles more so for taking the courage to do that. It's excellent. Thank you.
Alex, you had your hand up?
Hi, everyone.
Yes, with regard to being unprepared, or the level of preparedness when somebody brings an idea to the group, it's, there's people out there in the internet who have 20 or 30 years experience doing something specific like compositing or editing. And then when they apply their skills to the raw material they get from these sessions, they can come up with a gem. So that's a great idea. There's people like me who've got a vast experience in the background of differing things, but nothing in specific. That's where I have to polish my gems. Over.
I echo that excellent comment by Alex there. We have governments in the developed world, the G7, probably the G8, if not the G9, whose parents have spent whose ancestors have spent vast amounts of money, and they still can't get it right. So this, to me, is an excellent step forward of trying to get something right from the bottom up. And I'm complete. Thank you.
Okay, good. Charles, any final concluding comments on this session? I know we're past the top of the hour, so I appreciate you guys all hanging on until now. But how would you make a final?
I'm gonna go shortly too. I just was just checking to see who's really still here, and oh, I was looking for Joshua. Okay, that's okay. I was going to call on Joshua. But comments, do you want to be more specific or just keep it broad? I don't know.
No, I'm just giving you a chance to make a final. The whole question was, did we focus? Did the moderation help us focus? And did we co-create? Those are the three driving.
Oh, I would say emphatically yes, which unfortunately did get to a turbulent start with the tech. It was pretty much a tech issue, and as I see it, and but yes, checking all the three boxes from my side.
Very good. All right. Any last statements? I'll do the little countdown before we adjourn for today. Going once, going twice. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
And
thank you.
Very engaging session. Thank you all. Bye-bye for now.